Hey everyone, it is Pal Pondron Weather coming to you live here. We are tracking some severe weather and a very rare PDS watch. It is 1 o'clock on Wednesday, so I figured I'd come on live here and kind of get you through this storm. So, hello, how are you doing? Yeah, so it looks like I'm live here. So let me kind of give you an update on what's happening. We've got a very rare, significant severe weather threat. What's happening in the southeast? We have a high risk of tornadoes today. Unfortunately, we've got a very rare PDS watch as well. They just issued for parts of Alabama, getting into. Hey, Carrie, how are you doing? Hey, Monica, how are you doing? Yeah, so this is the first time I'm going live here on YouTube. So, yeah, bear with me because I'm kind of a rookie at this. It's one thing doing the videos, but I haven't really technically done too much live on YouTube. In fact, this is probably my first one. So, hey, welcome aboard. So I'm trying to keep you guys as safe as possible. It's a very rare day. I mean, it's the last time we've been under a high risk since 2019. In this area, and we have a significant threat for not only tornadoes but possibly long track tornadoes. I mean, all the parameters are in place for a significant day, unfortunately, which is going to probably carry on, through the evening. I woke up about 1 o'clock in the morning. I live in Dallas, and the storms were heading our way. I went live on Facebook for my local community here at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I've been up a while and got them through the storms here in Dallas, and it cleared out pretty nicely. I mean, we didn't have terribly too much damage. We had some winds up to 73 miles an hour up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, up in Terrell. We did have some hail, but for the most part, it was less than 1 inch. For the 3 hours that I was live on Facebook, and we didn't have any tornadoes, fortunately. So we had a system that basically it was a straight line wind event, and anywhere from 55 to 73 miles an hour. And then of course we had the blizzard this morning. In Amarillo. That was definitely a sight to see. That system that we've been talking about came across in the Panhandle and dumped 2 to 5 inches of snow. And at times there were some gusts at 60 miles an hour, and there's still the blizzard warning still in effect till 7 o'clock as the snow continues to fly out in Amarillo. But yeah, the significant threat today is widespread. I mean, Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Hoover, Alabama, into Meridian. I mean, Mississippi and Alabama are pretty much the target bullseye zone for a significant severe weather threat. So all your watches and warnings today, you need to basically have your plan B ready, have your weather radio ready. I'll be on live as long as possible for you to kind of get you through this storm. But this is going to be a long day, and it's a long duration event. This really doesn't even get going until tonight, technically, unfortunately it's going to be a nighttime event, nocturnal, what they call them, nocturnal type tornadoes. And this system, these are moving like at 50 miles an hour. So these are going to be quick, and that's unfortunately, so that's a dangerous setup at night. A lot of these are wind driven, rain wrapped type tornadoes. It's going to be very hard to see and very hard to get the warnings out ahead of time because they're going to be moving so quickly. So, yeah, if you kind of zoom in here, this is your significant, what they call your PDS watch, which is rare. I mean, this is your highest watch. I mean, you've got level 1 marginal, level 2 slight, level 3 enhanced, 4 moderate. Then you have high risk, and then very, very rarely. The Storm Prediction Center has to enter a particularly dangerous situation, and that's what we're up against for the next 6 hours. And we've already got a tornado happening right now. What does PDS mean? Yeah, it's a particularly dangerous situation. So it's basically the highest level you can get in the tornado category. So not only do you have a significant threat, so basically the levels and how they calculate it is if you're under a marginal risk, right? So that means the area that it's covering under that marginal area is a lot less susceptible of getting say a tornado if it was under a marginal risk. once it goes to slight, then you have a little bit more isolated and a little bit more moderate chances of it happening, of a tornado in a slight risk. And then same thing with enhanced, and then same thing with moderate. So once you get to high, that means it says it's a very high probability in this area that you're going to have a tornado. And so, and then the next level is a PDS watch, that's the highest you can get. It's basically, it's the highest you can get in any category. The National Weather Service does not issue these things lightly. These are not even issued every single year. So this might come around once every 2 years or so, or somewhere in the U.S. of one of these being issued. And unfortunately, today is one of those days. I mean, the parameters, all the dynamics are there. I mean, some of the short range models, some of the mesoscale models, the photographs. I mean, the dynamics is, I mean, it's almost scary that the atmosphere is capable of what it's producing today. I mean, significant updrafts, and I'm looking at this, the latest Storm Prediction Center as of 12:30, and they've got a 45% chance of a tornado happening in Memphis, Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Montgomery, Alabama, Columbia, Georgia. I mean, a 45% chance, that is very significant. I mean, that is a dangerous setup, and that's something that you rarely see out there. So that's scary in itself. So to know what we have up against of what the atmosphere is capable of producing today is not good, unfortunately. So on days like this, as forecasters, I cringe. I don't like these days because I know what this means. It knows there's probably going to be some lost lives today. That's unfortunate. So our job is to, keep you as safe as possible, give you plenty of advanced warning. So when a storm comes, when a siren's going off, when tornadoes on the ground, that you can go into your safe place, go into the most interior portion of the house, and hang out there until the warned area is clear. So these are going to be fast moving. So you have to react quick with this particular setup. So as these systems move across at 50 miles an hour, that is what we're up against. So and even right now we've got a tornado radar type tornado that's on the radar. So in this area, let's see. Where is it? The storm motion. These are lifting off to the northeast. Let me take one of these off so you can actually see here. NBS. Okay, off. All right, so you can actually see this better. So into Billingsley. Yeah, storm motion. So tornado indicated radar. There's 1 inch hail with this. It's moving at 29 miles an hour to the northeast. So if you're in the path of this area up here into Rockford, so it's heading towards the Rockford area. And then if we kind of zoom out into Alexander City, and if we zoom out even further into Roanoke. Let me take a pause and say hi to a couple of people. Hey, Jerry, how are you doing? Yeah, 3 tornado warnings in Mississippi. So let me zoom out here. Yeah, it's just going to be a busy day. I mean, we're talking numerous tornado warnings to keep track of. It's okay. Move over. Yeah, so we have this one right here. That's happening right now. Tornado induced, tornado possible. That's moving. Okay, so we've got at 1:11, we have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that's located 6 miles west of Toxie or 16 miles southwest of Butler, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. The tornado radar indicated tornadoes, so they just have a radar indicated tornadoes. There's flying debris with dangerous. It's dangerous to be caught without the shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Toxie around 1:15 Central Standard Time. That's already passed. Butler is at 1:35, so that's in the next 15 minutes. Lisbon at 1:40 and Pingleton at 1:55. Again, right now it's radar indicated. It's not confirmation on the ground storm spotter, but it is radar indicated that a tornado could be happening within that area. So definitely take cover at this moment. Everyone hit the like button for our favorite weatherman. Hey, I appreciate it. How are you doing? Yeah, I plan on doing a lot more of these. I just got this software, so I'm kind of new to this. I'm just kind of getting the hang of the new software, but I love to go live daily. I mean, this is one of the things I want to start doing because there's going to be probably a lot of weather. So we got today to worry about in the southeast, and then it goes off to the East Coast tomorrow. I mean, it'll be in the Carolinas. So these things are moving quick. And fortunately, there's another significant severe weather threat even for tomorrow for the East Coast. Yeah, absolutely. I should do this in hurricane season. Actually, hurricane season is probably one of my favorite ones to cover since I grew up in Houston. So I'm really familiar with hurricanes and everything about them. I've been studying hurricanes. That's how I fell in love with the weather when Hurricane Alicia went over my house in '83. So hurricane season is probably one of my sweeter spots to forecast because I feel like I'm probably better at hurricane season than any other season out there as far as forecasting standards. But yeah, I'm definitely expecting, going into hurricane season. I put my forecast out probably about 3 weeks ago. I expected about 16 to 20 16 to 20 storms this upcoming season. So what were the dynamics even for hurricane season? We were in a La Nina. It's going into more of an end zone neutral, which is probably going to be around a little bit of end zone neutral as we go into spring, where we're heading to right now, because we talked about the SOI index dropping pretty significantly over the last couple of weeks. But unfortunately, as we go into summer, that starts heading back down into a little bit more of a weak to moderate La Nina. So that's why I do feel we're going to have a pretty hot summer on board. And unfortunately, it starts the trajectory of extending, keep further south into more of a moderate La Nina into the peak time of hurricane season. There's only a 10% chance of a El Nino happening right now between August, September, and October during peak hurricane season. So that's why I feel like it's going to be a little bit more susceptible to produce some more hurricanes this year. Hopefully it doesn't get as bad as last year because we actually peaked. The La Nina actually started right on September to the 10th, which is the actual peak day of hurricane season. And that's the reason why September was so active and October was so active, because we actually went into La Nina at just the wrong time, unfortunately, which was at the peak of hurricane season. At least in New York, it's quiet right now, but there's going to turn to big rainstorm. Yeah, Ross, I was talking about that storm, on Friday. I've been kind of highlighting the 19th. I've been talking about it for a while. I still feel like you have a rain going into a wet snow on Friday. So we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But I do feel it's coming together that you probably could pick up, somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 inches of a kind of a wet snow somewhere around Friday morning. So there's a lot of actually precipitation with the event, as the same system will move up the East Coast, go into the Northeast at the same time polar air comes down. So I do feel you'll have a changeover with that dynamic cooling by the time it actually gets up to the Northeast, and with it hitting at the coldest time of the day, I do feel like you'll have a changeover to just a wet snow for several hours at least. So that's what I'm kind of looking at right now. So yeah, let me zoom out. Yeah, so you can definitely see there's three tornadoes. One's actually exurbated actually. So let me zoom in here. This is, where am I at? Mississippi. Sorry, my demographics are going to be probably off a little bit because this is the first time I'm going live of all these different cities. but there's Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So we're probably on the borderline of here. So let me zoom in. There's Gainesville. There's Livingston. Let me click on the warning. All right. So a tornado warning remains in effect until 2 o'clock. At 1:12, a confirmed tornado was located near Bluffport or near Livingston, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. It's a damaging tornado. Weather spotters have confirmed a tornado with this. There is flying debris. Will be dangerous. Those caught without shelter. Locations impacted are Forkland, Duffy's Bend, Thornhill, Walden Quarters, and Thisbe 5 Points intersection. All those areas are going to be impacted from this storm because it's moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. And most of these storms are going to be moving northeast. So if there is a warning to your southwest, expect it to come your way. And that goes with pretty much a lot of these tornadoes that are actually happening today, because most of these systems, you're going to have the flow coming in from the southwest. You're going to have that lift, and that's going to create the updrafts. And once the updrafts hit, that's going to continue off to the northeast. So yeah, definitely expect if there's a cell down to your southwest on radar, expect that to be coming your way up to the northeast. Do some super chats. I did set that up, Jerry. Like I said, this is my first time going live. So I'm going through StreamYard right now. So I'm not 100% certain where to see the super chat. So you'll have to bear with me. I'll definitely get more savvy with this going forward. But let me see. I know they're enabled. I did enable the super chats before we started, so I do know that. I just don't know how to. I don't know anything about the super chats, to be honest with you. so I'm probably not your average YouTuber. So let's see. Trying to go to the video. All right, manage video. Oh yeah, there it is. I see it. Yeah, so I'm trying to see the super chats here. Okay. Hey, Ross. Power tornado on the ground in Alabama. Someone has to do the super chat first. Oh, then you click on it. Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Christopher. There you go. Awesome. Christopher Allen did the super chat. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Cool. It's like a kid in the candy store. I've never done a super chat. I don't know. So you're awesome, Christopher. I appreciate it. That's pretty cool. I know. Sorry. Oh, here we go. All right. So the super chats are activated. Okay. So you can click on the answer their question if they put one in. Okay. I'm looking at the comments. Yeah, I'll be happy to answer any questions. I don't really see Christopher's question. When was the last time you had such a cold spell? Just wondering in Canada. Oh, but the cold spell we had just recently, the Arctic outbreak. Oh, that was very rare. I grew up in Texas. I grew up in Houston. I live in Dallas. That's a rare event. I mean, that was definitely historic, no question about it. 1989 we hit below zero. 1983 we hit below zero in Dallas. But that was only the fourth time that we hit below zero in Dallas since they started starting records since 1898. So we were at 2 below zero, which tied the second coldest temperature ever recorded in history in Dallas. So that was a very rare event. Yeah, WSV3 software. Let me move this up. Yeah, I'll type it in. I'll type it in. So you don't see a cold pattern developing, just abnormal. Well, cold is all relative. I mean, we're in the middle of March. We start spring on March the 20th. So we are cooling down after this system actually right here. I mean, we'll be in the 60s here in Dallas, which average high is like 70. So we are cooling down, and I do feel like there's even another system that comes in probably sometime next week that'll cool us down even more. But as far as like freezing weather for the South, I mean, we're pretty much done. I mean, I don't really see like Arctic outbreaks or anything like that uh, happening. So it's when you're saying anomalies, you're still even at 20 degrees below normal, you're still not going to be at freezing for the South. It would take something like extremely cold for it to even freeze again for the South, because our anomalies keep going up. So basically it's 10 degrees different. So that gives you an idea where we were in February 15th and where we are on March 15th. The average highs and lows are about 10 degrees warmer, just on average. Hey, Louisiana Swamp. Awesome. Look at that. Super chat. Cool. You're the best. I appreciate your support. I've seen snow in March before in the South. Oh yeah, absolutely. It can snow. I mean, it snowed in the Panhandle, and I still feel like there's going to be snow in West Texas probably sometime next week. That I'm looking at, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, with another stronger system coming through. No, it's happened before, no question. It's just the odds of it happening are not very good. We have a decent sized system come through this morning in Arkansas. It got pretty touchy. Got some storms tonight in Springfield, Missouri. Says we're going to have snow in the morning. Yeah, there is possibility of some snow in the far outskirts of Missouri. That is possible, with that same system that was bringing the snow in Amarillo right now. That low is going to direct upwards to the northeast and dump some snow that I kind of talked about in my video. So yeah, that's not out of the question. Just right around that cold core. South Central PA needs to have an onion snow. I'm not sure what an onion snow is. I'm in Central Georgia right now, below you. Okay. Smash those thumbs up. Hey, I appreciate it. How's Kentucky looking? Let me zoom out. Come on. Trying to. Let me go back here. All right. There's Nashville, Tennessee. St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, let me scroll out. Let me zoom out because other people had other questions in different cities. So yeah, so it looks like it just rained. Just some rain showers coming through western parts of Kentucky right now into central Kentucky. It looks fairly clear. Like I said, this system is moving to the northeast. So a lot of the severe threat will be hanging south. Your severe threat tomorrow is going to be along the east, into Georgia, into the Carolinas, into North Carolina, into Virginia. This area is going to be under the gun for severe weather setup tomorrow, and this will shift. So I think a lot of the severe threat will miss. Let me go back and look at Kentucky for tomorrow. Yeah, for the most part, the severe threat misses Kentucky. There's not much. There's not much in Kentucky, so it's basically to the east of you. You'll get rain, but you're not going to get the severe threat, and unless it's today. I mean, I think it stops at your area. It primarily stops. Yeah, marginal risk at best, and that's only half the state. So, yeah, you're not really under severe threat in Kentucky. You're good. Weatherman in Tulsa, Oklahoma said there could be seeing snow flurries in Oklahoma, Kansas border in the morning. Yeah, so what they're talking about is right here. I mean, here's your winter, here's your blizzard warning that's happening right now here in Amarillo, Texas. They had heavy snow in Dalhart this morning. They still having some snow right now in Amarillo, and you can definitely see this is going into the extreme portions of the Oklahoma Panhandle, and this is lifting northeast. So right now we're in kind of the daytime heating, so this is more like into your hotter part of the days. But as you know, night falls and the atmosphere cools, this rain will change over to a little bit of snow here heading into Kansas. So yeah, it's not out of the question that portions of Oklahoma could see some snow out of this and heading into Wichita, going into Pratt areas, because the same cold core, and that's the same system that's probably going to clip parts of Missouri as well with some snow. Hey, Tiffany, how are you doing? Where was that? What was your thoughts on the hurricane season? Yeah, so quickly, the hurricane season again. Right now, my initial thinking is 16 to 20 storms, and some of those I don't think is going to be as active. We had 30 storms last year, but we are expected to be in a La Nina again, and if not almost a moderate La Nina as we head towards peak season. So even 16 to 20 storms right now, I would say is fairly conservative. I would say because about 5 or 6 of those are going to be the smaller variety. Some of those storms, with the satellite data right now these days, a lot of these storms get named when a 40-mile-per-hour storm that technically shouldn't be named too much. So some of those storms are going to just be named and be out of here in a day or two. But legit storms are into 10 to 15 range of the ones that we're going to have to worry about closer to land. But I do expect an active season for sure. There's 6 tornado warnings right now in Mississippi. Oh wow. Yeah, if we zoom out here, there's one in Louisiana. So severe thunderstorm warning in Louisiana. There's tornado watch. There's that particular dangerous situation, tornado watch. And here's a tornado right now. Let me click on this one. At 1:19, so that was 20 minutes ago, a confirmed tornado was located near Sontag, or 9 miles east of Brookhaven, moving east at 30 miles an hour. Locations in the path are Omaya around 140, which is where it's at right now. So yeah, these things spin up quick and they spin down, so you got to catch them pretty quick. Do you think we've had bad spring or summer full of bad storms? Yeah, it just depends on where you live. No, so we're just getting started with the severe weather threat. Let me zoom out. Oh, what's the pink mean? The pink means you're under a tornado watch. All those areas in pink means you're under tornado watch. That's why there's a lot of pink. It's just an active day. I mean, there's pretty much entire states under a tornado watch. So, in Lafayette, Louisiana, Orange, Alexandria, heading into almost Shreveport, you can see all these tornado watches. Jackson, Mississippi. Here's Greenville tornado watch. There's Starkville. So that's why there's Birmingham. That's the day we're dealing with. Montgomery, Alabama, tornado watch. So all these areas are under our tornado watch. And if you zoom in, we've got them pretty much lined up on top of each other now. Tornado warnings and confirm tornado possible. Heading towards Pennington. So this one's indicated, radar indicated. Tornado radar indicated, has less than an inch hail with it, moving northeast at 39 miles an hour. People in the path are in Butler as well as Pennington over the next 20 to 30 minutes from this storm. So there's actually two back-to-back radar indicated tornadoes on radar that's lifting off into the northeast. Yeah, here's the one in Baton Rouge. Oh, there's actually two. Oh, I see there's two actually. Wow, it's a busy day. At 1:35, there's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, was located near Ovette, or 12 miles southeast of Laurel, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. It's a dangerous storm. Will be near Mill Creek around 1:50. So the next 7 minutes. So definitely get in your safe zone if you live in that area. Again, it's 12 miles southeast of Laurel, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. And it's radar indicated. And I would suspect, unless it's a big one, long track, these are more likely going to be radar indicated because they're so quickly spun up that we have to rely on radar indicated versus I feel like tonight is when, once we get into more of a peak heating around 4 or 5 o'clock, and especially as that main updraft comes through, probably starting around 6, 7 o'clock at night, that's the window I'm probably more concerned about is, like between 6 and say 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So this is a long duration event. I mean, the main lift hasn't even made it here yet. You got to understand. I mean, it probably literally left my house in Dallas about 6 o'clock this morning, and it's 2 o'clock. So even moving at 40 or 50 miles an hour, that system has not made it into Mississippi yet. So it's still way back. It's probably way back in Louisiana, even west of Louisiana into East Texas by right now. So it has a long way to go with that main energy coming in from the west. Yeah, I would suspect it's back here. I mean, this is your borderline. This is where it's at. I mean, this is where it originates. and the atmosphere only gets worse as it taps into this environment. So the main energy source is still well back here in East Texas. So this has a long way to go for continued severe threat for a long duration of time. Whether it moves faster than in the past. Yeah, this is fast. I mean, well, it depends on the system, because that one system that was basically stuck in Denver, that actually slowed, and that's why they got the historic snowfall in Denver. So that actually slowed down and kind of took its sweet time. This one is running quick. I mean, it literally hit the West Coast yesterday, was over Texas, and now it's going to be over the Southeast. Tomorrow it'll be in the East, and eventually it'll be by the Northeast by Friday morning. So yeah, so it's going, over 3,000 miles over just a 3 or 4 day time span. That's a long way to travel for a storm system, and it's packing a punch in a big way. That's the jackpot storm. Yeah, a lot of people have been referring this to 2011. I hope it don't get that bad. Well, April 27, 2011. But yeah, this is the reason why they're referring it back to 2011. Is basically the last time we've been in a La Nina as strong as this going into spring. So that's why they're looking at kind of an analog for 2011, because that's the last one they have to match it with. And 2011 was a historic year for tornadoes. It was a very hot year in the United States. A lot of places hit record highs, and then even then they still had a fairly significant hurricane season that year. They had 19 storms, which is a lot. I mean, last year we had 30. That broke the all-time record. 28 storms was the second all-time in 2005, and then third was 1933. So 19 storms would put it in the top 5 of the highest hurricanes or storms on record for a year. So definitely an active year all the way around in every category. Do you think it will hit Mississippi, Gulf Coast, or live in Gulfport? Gulfport, you're definitely under Gulfport, Mississippi. Yeah, I mean, everywhere in Mississippi, you're under the gun for a significant severe weather threat today. As I would say, the main line would probably hit, unfortunately, overnight in Gulfport, Mississippi, because right now it's 2:00 in the afternoon, and this whole system is basically in East Texas. So by the time it actually gets into Gulfport, it'll be nighttime with that main lift and energy. That's when I do feel like things are really going to start ramping up, and we'll have more probably stronger tornadoes, and unfortunately more susceptible for long track tornadoes. So that is going to be where we're really going to have to be paying attention, because these things could be on the ground for 50 to 75 miles is not out of the question in this type of setup. So once these things kind of get its act together and kind of form, unfortunately, there's not going to be that much to kind of wind themselves down, as the dynamics in the atmosphere are going to be really susceptible for them to keep the updrafts alive for an extended period of time. And that's the most dangerous setup. That's what you don't want to see. But unfortunately, that's what we're up against later on this evening with this type of setup that's going to be happening over the Southeast. So yeah, if you live in Mississippi, if you live in Alabama, really anywhere in those states, those are the two states that are going to be under the most pressure for a significant severe weather threat later on this evening. Because I'm looking at the hatch risk. I mean, there's a 45% chance of a tornado anywhere in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Columbia, Mississippi, into Northport, Alabama, Starksville, Mississippi, And there's a 30% chance getting into Birmingham, getting into Jacksonville, Jackson, Mississippi, Meridian, Greensville, Mississippi, Hoover, Alabama. So all those areas, and that's a pretty big area. I mean, all those areas would be, you know, basically what that implies is if it's 30%, so what that basically means is there's a 30% probability of an EF2 greater tornado within 25 miles of your home. That's basically what that means. So you have a 1 in 3 shot of a tornado, an EF2 tornado would be within 25 miles of your home of a given point in that area. So that's a pretty big area, and that's a lot of 25-mile points of radius that they're looking at. So a 30% chance is a very high chance. It's a very high chance. And just to give you an example, we were at 2% this morning in Dallas, and then they raised it to 5% just north of the city. So to be at 30%, that's a lot. And then 45%, that's very rare. I mean, that's a very rare thing that you actually see, a 45% chance of a significant tornado. Do you feel Tornado Alley has changed usual pattern locations, shifting more northeast, or is it fair game across the board? Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's all it's all about the dew points, and it's all about the Gulf temperatures. So, if you look off the coast right now, there's still some warmer waters off the coast of the Northeast. So that definitely helps fuel these storms. Down to the south, we because of the Arctic outbreak we had in February, I do feel that made a little bit of an impact over the last couple of weeks, especially as you got into central and northern Texas, because that's mainly where that cold front hit, or the historic cold, which made the sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico a lot cooler. So it had a lot less water vapor to work with as the storms lifted from the southwest. But as we moved into the southeast, you saw the brunt of that Arctic outbreak did not technically reach too much of the southeast. So it never really made it all the way down to the coast to really cool those temperatures. And it's been a while now. It's been 3 or 4 weeks now. So the sea surface temperatures have already kind of rebounded, especially as you move further into the southeast. So as this system comes across into the southeast, yeah, it's got all those warm waters to fuel. And then as you go up to the northeast coast, it's the same way. I mean, you had a fair amount of snow this year, but it wasn't like you had like historic cold and into the northeast, and those waters stayed fairly warm, predominantly most of the winter. Tornado reported in Meridian. Yeah, there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now, currently 6 actually tornado warnings happening right now in this area. So we've got tornado warning in Laurel. That's the one we went over. Tornado warning indicated here. This is probably a new one here. Let me click on it. This is moving at 1:50. So this happened three minutes ago. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing tornado located 6 miles north of Toxie now, or 9 miles southwest of Butler, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. Tornado and quarter-size hail indicated. It's a dangerous storm. People in locations of Butler and Lisbon around 2:05. So for the next 10 minutes, you can see these things travel pretty quick. These things pop up, 3 minutes ago, and it's already gone. It'll already move because it's moving at 39 miles an hour, fairly quick. So it's covering a pretty good radius in a short amount of time. As this one was tornado radar indicated. So we got 1, 2, 3. These are all radar indicated storms. Here, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. because we have 1 inch hail, 1.5 inch hail. So basically, what classifies them as a severe thunderstorm is it has to have at least 60-mile-per-hour winds. This one has it. And you have to have at least 1 inch or greater hail, which is 1 inch is quarter inch, 1.5 is more like half dollar. So how they signify this as far as damage, typically if you get 1 inch hail, especially like 1.5 inch hail, if that 1.5 inch hail hits your car, it's probably going to leave a little bit of dings in your car. So typically that warrants a severe thunderstorms when it does damage, or obviously if it's a tornado warned tornado or tornado on the ground. So there's three categories to technically classify a severe thunderstorm, and you only need one. So if one of those three happens, then that's what classifies them as a severe thunderstorm. Yeah, quarter size hail is very damaged. I mean, obviously, if it hits you, it's damage. So yeah, if you quarter size hail is 1 inch hail, yeah, it's definitely going to do some damage if it hits you. But into the cars and structures of everything, it has to be at least 1.25, maybe 1.5 inch before it definitely does some damage to your cars and stuff. It has to get to more like golf ball, which is 1.75 or greater, to start doing damage to your roofs. And more, a little bit sturdier objects. Yeah, I know you live in New York, Ross. Down here in Texas, we get 1 inch hail a lot. I've already had 1 inch hail in my house probably 3 or 4 times this season, and of course I already know it's coming, and it's going to be, I always have my cars in the garage anyways. Yes, all these are heading towards Alabama. All these tornado warnings and tornado warned storms are all lifting northeast. So if there's a storm to the southeast, look, this is in the trajectory of Birmingham. This whole line would be in the trajectory of Birmingham. These are all lifting northeast. That's why Mississippi and Alabama are the two states that are really under the gun for the most significant severe weather threat and higher likelihood of tornadoes, because they're building off Louisiana onto the south coast, and as that lift lifts them off, as it wraps into that jet stream, you have a significant updrafts once you hit this area, so that lifts them to the northeast. And you get what they call banding, so you can have training. This is how you get into a long track type tornadoes. You have these banding or training type tornadoes, and that is a dangerous setup once it kind of feeds off those updrafts. It just kind of trains over the same area for an extended period of time. What time do you think it'll be full blown? The full blown zone is probably between 7 o'clock tonight and 2 o'clock in the morning. That is the time frame that I'm most concerned about heading into the evening. So right now it's 2 o'clock. So this is I hate to say the warm up. I don't like to downplay severe weather, but yeah, this is it's a significant day. I mean, this even six tornado warnings right now is nothing to sneeze at. That would be a very active day in any given standpoint on any day. But what we're up against today, it's a very rare day of the dynamics coming into play for an extended period of time. So I definitely don't want to make light of any tornado warning that's happening, but the prime time setup where I'm more concerned about of more long trap type tornadoes would be into the evening, would be basically from 7 o'clock tonight to like 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's when the main energy is going to be coming across. Yeah, nighttime tornadoes are definitely very deadly. That is the great concern right now, because these are still going to move in at 40, 50 miles an hour. It's going to be nighttime. A lot of these are going to be rain wrapped as well. So you're not, unfortunately, you're not going to have that much warning at ahead of time, because these storms are already moving at 40 or 50 miles an hour. So you definitely have to rely on radar on these types of situations, because to get a ground confirmation on heavy rain at night, it's very difficult to have even the spotters out. And it's a dangerous day to even be a spotter. I mean, I would not want to be a storm chaser today. This is only for the veterans out there. Anybody that's an amateur out there does not need to be out in this type of environment, because there's just so many going on. I mean, and you get stuck. I mean, you could be in a point where you're trapped. You got tornadoes on all sides of you, and there's nowhere to go. So this is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, I would not put myself in a situation to be out there in the middle chasing these storms today. It's just it's not one of those days, especially if when they start clogging up the roads too, because there's a lot of storm chasers that want to catch this type of event. But it's a dangerous day. There's no question about it. Yeah, everybody should be watching their local radar. So we're all trying to give you advanced warning. I mean, I've been kind of talking about this, highlighting this day for about 4 days now. And then it started really coming together yesterday. They upgraded to a moderate risk. And then last night they upgraded it to a higher risk. And then today they upgraded it to a PDS watch. So it's been a full trajectory of steady intensification all the way until now. Storm chaser flipped his truck camper in Texas the other day. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I mean, and these updrafts, especially when they get these bigger tornadoes. I mean, even if you're a half mile or a mile away from these things, the suction can suck you in. I mean, it's on top of you before you even know it, and a lot of times they can't get out, and so it's just not a good situation. Yes, it's hard to give exact times for everyone. That's the thing about today. It's going to be so much going on. It's going to be very difficult. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got literally 7 tornado warnings right now, and we're not even at the peak yet. Here, let me go on this one. This one's still moving at 31 miles an hour. This is radar-induced tornado. At 1:44, a confirmed tornado was located near Verbena, or 7 miles southeast of Clanton, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. It's a damaging tornado. Locations in the path are Clanton, Higgins, Ferry Park, Verbena, Mitchell Lake, and Mitchell Dam, as well as Cooper. So all these areas are going to be under the gun for a radar-induced tornado between now and 2:15. So for the next 12 minutes in those areas, be on the lookout for a possible tornado impacting your area over the next 15 minutes. Yeah, it's definitely been more active this year, Linda, for sure. Yeah, to get a higher risk this early on in the season, the middle of March, is very rare, for sure. High risk is very rare in itself, but it's definitely rare, very rare. What are the proper dew points? Let me go to the dew points. Yeah, typically you want to have your dew points in this, 65 to 68 range. Here's your dew points right now. I mean, these are pretty prime. I mean, we got 70 degrees here, 72, 70 in Meridian, 66 in Columbus. Yeah, I mean, really anything 65 or higher is pretty susceptible for severe weather. That's plenty of moisture. 72 in Hattiesburg. I mean, all this area down here in the South, Mobile 70, New Orleans is 70, down here to Beaumont 70, St. Charles is 72. So there's a lot of ample moisture in the air that typically a lot of these areas experience some fog. So that had a lot of a lift and it kind of moistened up all the layers of the atmosphere. But that's only one element that you have to have for severe weather, as the dew point. Another where if you look for shear, rotation in the atmosphere, updrafts, if the dynamics are right for towering thunderstorms, for them to create hail with this setup. So there's also a pretty good hail threat as well. But unfortunately, the highest threat is tornado. Out of all the threats between wind, hail, and tornado is actually the highest. It has the 45% chance in the middle. Wind is 30 at the highest, and hail is 30 as well. So unfortunately, with all three modes, tornado is actually the highest threat. Yeah, 54 in Arkansas. If you're in the 50, I mean, look at that, 37 in Dallas. I mean, can I give you an idea when the storms were coming through this morning when I was going live? It was 72. It was 72 this morning at about 3 o'clock in the morning in Dallas, the dew point, and now it's 37. And it's clear as a bell. There's not a cloud in the sky right now. Tornado warning in Oklahoma. Oh, yeah, there is. Right here. That's a very small cell, but it looked like there's tornado warning right here. It's moving at 29 miles an hour. It's got some 1-inch hail to it. It's going to be in so tornado warning for it's moving northeast at 29 miles an hour. So this little cell right here, it doesn't look like much, but it's very small and it's packing a punch, and it's heading towards Tulsa, Oklahoma, right along Interstate 44. Yeah, because this is moving northeast. So this is moving northeast, and it looks like it's making a beeline towards Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, the blowing debris field is the most dangerous, likely. Flying through the air. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when tornado happens, flying debris is just as dangerous because anything's a projectile item. Even a straw sometimes can go right through you if it's high enough. Is there a recommended radar app for finding real-time radar readings? Radar Scope is a great one. It's called Radar Scope. Let me put it in the chat here. I like Radar Scope. I've had this for years. Actually, you can just pay $10 and get the premium. It's for the entire year. That's like level 1. Level 2 is 100, but even just paying $10 for the entire year is well worth it. It's got hail on there. It has all the indicated warnings on there, and it's probably one of the best radars that I use, and you can use as well. Free ones are myradar.com, which is a fairly decent one for free. You don't have to pay anything. It's not going to show you hail or anything. It's going to show you just precipitation and where it's snowing and freezing rain and stuff. But if you want to see a little bit more of hail and higher winds, and radar scope is the one that I would recommend. Northeast snowstorm. Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at the latest model update today, but yeah, we've been talking about possibly Friday, that rain changing over to snow in the Northeast as a possibility as colder air comes down. Um, that is still possible, and it looks like starting to make a changeover around the I-95 corridor. So today's the 17th, and so yeah, that we're talking Friday. So let me look at the new model update. I haven't even looked at the new model update as everything updates around noon with the afternoon run. Yeah, it's still showing it. I mean, it's still having a transfer some rain to snow on a Friday. It's got that rain mix, so it looks like it's all rain in Pennsylvania, but it looks like it transfers to snow and portions of Connecticut and Massachusetts, possibly New York City, Boston area. And it's a wet snow. I mean, it looks like a wet snow going up the I-95 corridor is that low pressure. Because yeah, this same system hits the southeast. It hits the East Coast on the Carolinas on Thursday, and then starts swinging up. And if that low looks to hang offshore, it looks to continue to be offshore, and with cold air pressing to the north, and with the cooling of the day, I mean, with this system coming in at night in the morning, it looks like overnight Thursday night going into Friday morning, it starts as rain, but then transfers over to a snow, taking advantage of the coolness of the day in the morning times, and then also with dynamic cooling, which typically lowers the temperature another 5 degrees, and that pulls down a little bit more of that colder air to the surface. And I do feel a lot more of a changeover, and it could be heavy. I mean, because there's a lot of liquid precipitation with this. My local news is saying it could be a blizzard. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at some of the wind gust. Let me just go to the wind gust here. The swath while I'm on it. Region. Yeah, right along the coast. I mean, it's still implying. Yeah, we could get some higher wind gusts for sure coming up on Friday, just along the coast. Yeah, so midnight Thursday night going into Friday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it definitely looks like there's some higher winds with this system. A blizzard is classified as 35 miles an hour or greater for 3 hours or more. But yeah, it looks like right along the coast, maybe Cape Cod, um, these areas, 40 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, getting into Rhode Island. Yeah, a lot of the heavy winds just remain just offshore. But yeah, just inland, you're looking at upwards to 40-mile-per-hour wind gust. So yeah, I can definitely see where they're talking about possibly blizzard type conditions. And that's the area I've been kind of highlighting for about a week now, honestly. For the Northeast, I've been pinning the 19th as a date for Northeast snowstorm. So it definitely looks like it's coming together. Yeah, sorry, no, yes, sustained winds at 35 miles an hour, not gust. Yeah, I was looking at gust. I'm sorry. It has to be 35 miles an hour or greater. But yeah, what I was looking at is offshore they were having 50 and 60 gust. You know, but no, I'm not calling for a blizzard by no means. But some of the higher wind gusts could hit 35, 40 miles an hour for gust. Yeah, sustained is probably more like in the 20, 25 miles an hour range. Oh my gosh, 8 tornadoes at once. That's just crazy. Let's zoom out here. Okay, so we've got one. That's a tornado warning. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I count 7 if I missed one, but that's a lot. Probably here's a pending one. That's a severe thunderstorm warning, moving at 47 miles an hour with 1-inch hail. Let me zoom in. That's near Waynesboro. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. It's not a tornado. This is a severe thunderstorm warning near Waynesboro. If we move up, this is a possible tornado. Come on. Yeah, that one's moving at 47 miles an hour at 2:45. The National Weather Service has issued severe thunderstorm warning for central Choctaw County until 2:45 for that particular storm. This one has a possible tornado warning until, wow, there's so many. Tornado warning, southeastern Marengo County and southwestern Alabama until 3:15 at 2:09. So 5 minutes ago, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that was near Putnam or 15 miles west of Thomasville, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Tornado and quarter-size hail. Locations in its path are Linden, Thompson, Sweetwater, Dayton, Putnam, Freddie Jones Field, Consul, Magnolia, Wayne, Miller, Dixon's Hill, and Octagon, Clay Hill, and Calvary. So all those areas are susceptible for a tornado that's going to be impacting between now and 3:15. So that's a long time. That is a long tornado warning. So there's 2 possible tornadoes. There's 2 radar induced and there's 2 possible tornadoes. This one's moving at 44 miles an hour up between now and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, that was the same one I just clicked on. Yeah, they're both side by side. It looks like they're affecting a lot of the same areas. Let me zoom out. This one's another one, radar-induced tornado at 2:14. So that was 4 minutes ago. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Akron or 11 miles northeast of Utah, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Locations in this path are Moundville, Elliott's Creek, Mound State Park, and Moundville Airport, as well as Havana. Again, this is a tornado, radar indicated tornado moving northeast at 30 miles an hour, basically 11 miles northeast of Utah, near Akron at 2:14 between now and 2:45. So the next 30 minutes for those areas. 2 tornado warnings in Oklahoma now. Wow. Yeah, here we are. Tornado warning or thunderstorm watch? It looks like a thunderstorm warning. The one in, oh, you said Oklahoma. Up here in Tulsa. Okay. Yeah, this one's moving at 17 miles an hour. Radar indicated has some 1-inch hail between now and 2:30. That was tornado radar indicated. At 2:14, there was a tornado near Catoosa, moving north at 35 miles an hour with 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Locations in this path are Claremore, Owassa, Catoosa, and I can't pronounce that. Sorry. Verdigris along Interstate 44 between mile marker 234 and 247. Yeah, between now and 2:30. So for the next 10 minutes. And these are all lifting off to the northeast. This one's moving at 33 miles an hour. So you noticed more further north, the updrafts aren't as strong. So they're not moving as fast. Still 33 miles an hour is fast, but they're not moving as fast as you get down to the southeast. They're more in the 45 to 55 mile per hour, movement range. Yeah, it's crazy how everyone around us in Dallas had severe weather, but Dallas, we chilling. Yeah, everything's moved out now. That was the severe threat this morning was in Dallas, and then it wasn't too bad. Hey, Michael, how are you doing? Yeah, Radar Scope, which should be your radar app. Let me. I'll put this in the chat. Radar Scope is $10 a year, and my radar is free. Yeah, Radar Scope is the one I highly recommend. That's what I've been using for years. You can just get the level 1. It's literally $10 a year. It's highly worth it. It does a lot for $10. My radar is free, but you'll love the Radar Scope app. It's the one I've been using for years. Oh, I got it right. Well, good. Squatting dog. Hey, I appreciate it. I want to see 3 tornado whirlwinds hit Atlanta. Yeah, it's a busy day for sure. Definitely a busy day. My New York daughter Olivia said thank you. You're welcome. Hey, silly goose. Tornado in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So let's go back to Alabama. Yeah, we swung over to Oklahoma with those 2 tornado warnings there. So let's zoom into Alabama now. There it is. All right, so at 2:20, so that was 3 minutes ago, a tornado producing a storm was located near Knoxville, or 13 miles northeast of Utah, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. This is a damaging tornado. It's a radar-confirmed tornado. Locations in the path are Tuscaloosa, Moundsville, Coaling, University Mill, McFarland Mall, Shelton State Community College, as well as the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater, Bryant Denton Stadium, Inglewood, Little Sandy, Maxwell, University of Alabama, as well as Mound State Park and Duncansville and Palmore Park. So that is a lot of areas in its path. And it's moving northeast at 30 miles an hour between now and 3 o'clock. So this one, you're going to have plenty of advance warnings on it because it just was confirmed as of 2:20. So that was just 4 minutes ago. So for the next 40 minutes, all those areas will be under the gun of a tornado, radar-induced tornado, susceptible of producing, less than 1 inch hail and a possible tornado in its path. At 2:16, looks like there's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing another tornado near Arcola or near Demopolis, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. Locations in the path are Greensboro, Forkland, Duffy's Bend, Saurville, Arcola, and Greensboro. As well as Burndon and Cedarville. Nothing for Tennessee. No, it looks like, well, probably not yet. I think Tennessee's later on the night. Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee. You're under a slight risk. So your threat would probably come tonight because all this is lifting northeast. Hey, Mary, how are you doing? Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. You got the sticker. Yeah, the super chat's new to me, so I'm not sure exactly how it works. But I appreciate your support. I just know I enabled it today, and so yeah, I greatly appreciate your support. I'm not sure what the stickers mean. I'm learning, so I'm not sure exactly what the stickers mean, but I definitely appreciate your support. Anything for Kansas. Anything for Kansas. Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, I think your Kansas threat's coming a little bit later. I mean, you're on the outskirts. For the most part, you're clear in Kansas because all this is moving northeast. So even the Oklahoma stuff is moving northeast. So predominantly, it's going to miss a good chunk of Kansas. I mean, on the outskirts of, say, Wichita, Kansas might be susceptible of a marginal risk. But for the most part, Kansas is pretty much in the clear. Anything for South Carolina, Candina? Yeah, your threat, yours tomorrow. Yes, definitely for tomorrow. South Carolina would be under the gun for this same type of system to be coming through. Let me look at the latest Storm Prediction Center. This is it. This was actually updated at 12:30. So it has for South Carolina. Yeah, you're definitely under the gun tomorrow for a moderate risk for severe weather for South Carolina. But it doesn't look like there's much today, Kadena. So everything's tomorrow. And I'll be live back on tomorrow as well for the East. Tonight for Atlanta. Yeah, for the most part, well late tonight, going in tomorrow for Atlanta for sure. As this continues moving across. Right now, the back half of it is in essentially East Texas. And this is still moving across. So it's got a long ways to go. Yeah, Atlanta is basically on the border of an enhanced or a slight risk of severe weather. But a lot of that's going to be probably well into the overnight hours, going in tomorrow morning, as for sure. I'm glad it's only a moderate risk. Hey, moderate risk is bad. I mean, it's very rare to even see a higher risk. So a moderate risk is very high. It's level 4. I mean, it's 4 levels up. And it's not to say they can't go to high risk tomorrow either, because remember, To put out a high risk is very rare, and it's not one of those things they do lightly, but it's also not one they're not going to put out like that far in advance either. I don't think the dynamics are there for a high risk for tomorrow, but a moderate risk is still going to do. It's still going to be a very active day for sure. Hi, Diane. I appreciate your support. You're awesome. Thanks so much. Y'all are great. Now, I'm happy to help. Weather's been a passion of mine since I was 8. It's one of those things. I was in awe of the weather as a kid. I fell in love with the weather when I was 8 years old. When I grew up in Houston, and Hurricane Alicia went over my house when I was 8, and I was one of those kids. Even at an early age, I would watch all the news stations, like Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 11, Channel 13, just to watch the weather, because I always wanted to get everybody's viewpoint of the weather. Right. And so I was always fascinated by it. And that storm, we were without power for 3 weeks. I remember, and all the schools were closed, and I was stuck in my house, but I found myself just staring outside the window that night when 115 mile per hour winds, which is not what you're supposed to do, is be by a window. But I was 8 years old, but watching, the roar, the power that you could feel it, and the energy, the lowering of the pressure. It was really, my ears were ringing. I was just like, what is going on? I was like in awe of the power of Mother Nature. And really ever since that, I just became fascinated, and now I'm probably obsessed with it. So I'm one of those guys that looks at the weather probably almost 24 hours a day, it seems like. Hey, I love the shoes, Diane. You get me every time they post, and it actually looks different on this picture, but those are cool. I always recognize it's you because of the shoe. Hmm. Yeah. So all right, so let me zoom out, and let's get an update of what's happening, because there's a lot going on. Here's a new one that looks like it's popped up, and a new tornado warning at 2:24. A confirmed tornado was located near Moundville, or 16 miles south of Tuscaloosa. So Tuscaloosa already had a tornado warned, and this looks like it's south of Tuscaloosa. So that would be actually moving in Tuscaloosa's direction as well, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Moundsville Airport, Elliott's Creek are all in the path of this particular tornado that's lifting off into the northeast at 30 miles an hour between now and 2:45. So the next 12 minutes, you're going to be under the gun for possibly flying debris or dangerous conditions with a radar-induced tornado that's heading your way over the next 15 minutes. And that looks like that one was actually observed. So there's back to back. I mean, there's two. There's two actually observed radar tornadoes right now, all heading towards the Tuscaloosa area. So that's the area that's going to be under the gun. And if you look down to the south, I mean, like I mentioned, all these areas are moving northeast, and those are all heading towards or right around the Tuscaloosa area. So this one by Sweetwater is radar induced. This one is at 2:23. So that was 10 minutes ago. There was a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Sweetwater, or 12 miles northwest of Thomasville, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So locations in the path are Linden, Thompson, Sweetwater, Dayton, Putnam, Freddie Jones Field, Consul, Magnolia, Wayne, Miller, Dixonville, Octagon, and Clay Hill, as well as Nicholsville, and Calvary are all locations in the path of this storm that's essentially 12 miles northwest of Thomasville, moving at 35 miles an hour. And let me go to my Twitter feed. All right, take this off. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these soundings tonight. These soundings tonight don't look good at all. Reed Timber is intersecting a tornado. Warren Cell heading towards Waynesboro, Mississippi. That was at 7 minutes ago. So he's in Mississippi. There's Hattiesburg. Looks like he's by this one. Yeah, there's actually 2 tornadoes here. This was observed at 2:23. We might have already went over this one until 3:15. Locations in the path are Linden, Thompson, Sweetwater, Dayton. I think this is the one we already went over. This was actually a confirmed tornado. Will you be live tomorrow? Yes, I do plan on being live tomorrow. I'll come back tomorrow for sure and report on the storms off the East Coast. This is a back-to-back system. I mean, it's a very rare time that you get back-to-back significant severe weather days like this. And this is a long duration event. It's basically in a nutshell, it's a 36-hour event, which literally started almost last night in the DFW area, or really didn't get its act together until it hits Louisiana. But now it's just kind of starting. And so for the next really 36 hours, that's how long duration of this event is going to be, traversing across the southeast and eventually getting into the east. So for the next 36 hours, there'll be a huge area of states under the gun of tornadoes, from essentially, Shreveport, Louisiana, all the way to eventually, North Carolina over the next, 36 hours. So this is a very long duration event of a lot of tornado warnings, unfortunately, and a lot of significant severe weather. It's very rare to see the dynamics kind of holding together for such a long period of time, and a high risk and a moderate risk back to back like that, expanding over, hundreds, almost, 1,000 miles at least, is a very significant event. But yes, I will be live tomorrow. And I plan on being live a lot more often. This is a fairly new thing, going live on YouTube, but yeah, I'd like to do a video in the morning and go live in the afternoon. We're going to have a very, active spring. So this is one of these things that I'll probably be going live a lot more often during the day to keep you as safe as possible. And I love to chat as well. So a lot of times when you're making your videos, you're literally talking to a computer, but you're not talking back. So I'm a more social type person. So I like communicating. I love all the comments that y'all always comment in my videos. So I like this. I like the social aspect of it and the communication aspect. So going live is actually what I love to do. So I communicate with y'all, and that way you can, kind of connect with me more of on a personal level as well, instead of through video and stuff. But But I love doing the videos. I'll continue doing the videos, obviously, because those are more, gives you an idea what might be coming over the next 5 to 7 days. Going live is more real time activity of what's happening, currently at the moment. So, and it'll be on your more of your higher impact days. Obviously, every day won't be as bad as this one, but there'll be active days, going through springtime and obviously going through, hurricane season and even going back towards winter again. But then obviously there's days that there's not much going on either. And we enjoy days like that. So it doesn't have to be active all the time. Yeah, this reminds me of 2011. Yeah, that's the date that everybody's been mentioning, and that's the last time we were under a La Nina, unfortunately. So that is definitely one of those analogs that's been pegged from the start to kind of compare this year to. Hopefully, it's not as bad as 2011 because that was a significant analog year. And so far, besides today, we were actually down on tornadoes before the Texas Panhandle. I think before the Texas Panhandle happened, we only had 24 tornadoes out of an average of 133 at that current time. But then on Saturday, we had 17 tornadoes just within the Texas Panhandle. And obviously, who knows how many today? I mean, we could be putting together probably 100 of them today on all different categories. And it'll take a while for the National Weather Service to go out and assess all the damage. And typically it takes, 2 or 3 days, after the fact, after they look at all the damage reports and when, winds, and after they have a visual on the ground. So we won't have a correct number of that until probably several days after. So I would say probably by Monday, we'll probably have a more an idea of what actually took place over the next 2 days. But yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it could be, probably 100 or so tornadoes of all different levels, and that's a significant threat. Well, North Carolina and Virginia see tornadoes. Well, your risk is tomorrow, Kim. So that area will be under the gun. Let me go back for tomorrow's risk. So tomorrow's risk for North Carolina has a moderate risk for severe weather for tomorrow, as well as getting into Virginia has a little bit more of an enhanced risk up towards, like, say, Roanoke and Virginia Beach area. So not quite as strong, but definitely a significant threat coming up for your area for tomorrow. But nothing's today. Everything's tomorrow for your region. Thanks, Mary, for your super sticker. I greatly appreciate your support. I was wondering what type of severe weather to expect in north central Ohio this year due to the current patterns we are experiencing. You're pretty far north for Ohio. The southeast ridge. By the time it gets up in your area, I could probably see some slight risk days. But yeah, it definitely seems like the severe threat is lifting further north, especially in a year like this, where you're probably going to have a lot of systems coming across with pretty good updrafts, and the jet stream is going to be fairly active to the south. So I can definitely see the severe threat to push a little bit further north than what, say, average years in your area. So, but you'll probably see some enhanced risk days for sure, but more likely, more of them be in the slight risk arena. For South Carolina, would we get any tornadoes higher than EF? I can't guarantee them higher than that, but it still would be susceptible of not as a big threat today as long track tornadoes, but yeah, there's definitely a threat for tornadoes tomorrow in that area. Right now, they have a 30% chance of an EF2 or greater possibility in the hatched risk in a 25-mile point radius. So the atmosphere is capable of producing tornadoes of that magnitude, EF2 tornado tomorrow within a 25-mile point radius. And that's a big radius, anywhere from Columbia, South Carolina, pretty much all of North Carolina, getting into portions of Virginia. So there's a good chunk of 3 states essentially under a moderate risk for severe weather tomorrow. They dropped our tornado warning in Oklahoma. The temperatures was around 73 and now down to 40. So yeah, so the temperatures, you're seeing that colder air push in. Let me zoom back out to Oklahoma. So put the temperatures on. So you're asking about Oklahoma. Yeah, you can see the storms move pretty quick. Here's your severe thunderstorm warning northeast of Oklahoma City. But look, I mean, Oklahoma City's down to 46 degrees. So there's the cold front. I mean, there's definitely some colder, drier air behind this system. So Oklahoma's almost in the clear. You probably have another hour or 2 left before this really moves across and moves northeast, going into, say, Springfield, Missouri area, as this will continue lifting off into the northeast. This severe thunderstorm warning lasts until 3:15. So I would imagine once this is done, then, for the most part for Oklahoma, you're going to be done for your severe threat. Because once you turn cooler, like Oklahoma City, I mean, at 46 degrees, that's nice. There's no severe thunderstorms going to be happening in that arena. But yeah, you can see the snow. I mean, they still have the blizzard warning till 7 in Amarillo. They pop back up to 36 now. So I think for the most part, the snow is probably pretty much done in Amarillo. And these snow showers are lifting off into the northeast. So this is more of a wet snow happening, 35, 36, 37 degree wet snow. Hey, Jay. Storm back in Tuscaloosa. Let me go back to Alabama here. Yeah, Tuscaloosa is going to be one of those areas that's going to be. Oh, wow. This is probably your largest tornado of the day. This one, okay, at 2:41, at 7 minutes ago, we have a confirmed large, extremely dangerous tornado on the ground located near Shelton State Community College, or 9 miles south of Tuscaloosa, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. This looks like the largest tornado of the day on the ground right now. Extremely dangerous between now and, say, 3 o'clock for the next 12 minutes. Locations in the path are Tuscaloosa, Moundsville, Coaling, University Mall, McFarland Mall, Shelton State Community College, Tuscaloosa Amphitheater, Bryant Denton Stadium, Inglewood, Little Sandy, Maxwell, the University of Alabama, as well as Taylorville, Hull, Mount State Park, Duncanville, and Stillman College. So this damage report threat considerable. So this looks like an extremely dangerous tornado, large tornado, currently on the ground right now, heading heading into those areas 9 miles south of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And this is all heading along 59. There's Interstate 20 there. Yeah, Highway 59. There's Utah. This is all lifting off into the northeast. So the one you're experiencing right now and closer to Warrior, this will be lifted off into the northeast as well, probably past just west of Birmingham, Alabama. But this looks like the most damaging tornado of the day. Yeah, confirmed tornado heading southeast of Tuscaloosa. Major tornado heading towards Cottondale, Alabama. Seek shelter. Yeah, so this is definitely the biggest one of the day. We're getting a debris signature on radar now. That would indicate probably EF2 type tornado to get like a debris signature on radar. That's a significant tornado happening right now. Yeah, so you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tornado warnings, and this is the one that's doing considerable damage. And all these are lifting in that same general direction. This is all to the southwest of here. This would all be lifting northeast. Yeah, hopefully this might miss it. If it continues this path, hopefully it might miss that same area. Will we see any derecho storms like these had last year, this year? I hope all in the path of this tornado. Yeah, it's possible. It's hard to predict a derecho ahead of time, but it's definitely possible with these Boeing segments coming in from west to east. Get some water here. Yeah, it's a busy day. Yeah, right now for the next 8 minutes, we're concerned about this large tornado that's on the ground here, heading towards just east of Tuscaloosa area, heading towards I saw Holt there and Brookwood area. This is the zone that would be under the gun for that tornado risk that's coming up over the next 10 to 15 minutes as this continues lifting off into the northeast. North at Jones might be in the path of this system. Hueytown as well. It looks like Hueytown might be in the path of this eventually if this holds together. But yeah, this is a dangerous storm. At 2:47, a confirmed tornado was near Cardiff or near Sumton, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Damaging tornado, quarter-size hail, emergency management, confirmed tornado, flying debris, locations in the path: Gardendale, Adamsville, Graysville, Brookside, West Jefferson, Cardiff, as well as Patridge, Crossroads, and Saree. Those areas will be under the gun for that significant, extremely large tornado that's on the ground currently right now. And it looks like possibly 2 of them. Am I seeing that right? It looks like 2 of them back to back here. One's tornado observed, another one is bigger. So it looks like there's definitely 2 of them here. Small stream flood advisory. Yeah, it looks like there's 2 tornadoes back to back. Twin tornadoes. Wow. Yeah, it looks like the hail core is picked up on this one as well. So now this is actually 1.5-inch hail as well. But this one has an observed tornado. It looks like 2 observed tornadoes back to back on the ground right now, just east of the Tuscaloosa, Alabama area. And we're actually getting signatures on radar of a debris signature on radar, which typically that indicates possibly an EF2 or greater type tornado on the ground currently. Yeah, the humidity is crazy high. So let's back it out. Let's turn to the south here. You can see how active it is. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of these are on top of each other areas. I mean, where this PDS watch, this particular dangerous situation watch, this is the area that's under the gun. So you can definitely see there's literally about 5 or 6 different tornado warnings currently right now under that PDS watch. And just on the outskirts of that, that's where we have those 2 confirmed tornadoes. And yet we have another confirmed tornado, it looks like, as well, into Brookside. That is another tornado that looked like it just popped up as well. So let's take a look at that. And that at 2:47, that was moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Locations in that path are Gardendale, Adamsville, Graysville, Brookside, West Jefferson, Cardiff, Saury, and Pat Ridge Crossroads. So we have literally 3 confirmed, at least, tornadoes right now that's on the ground currently as we speak in Alabama area. Between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. Hey, Mary, thanks for the super sticker. I appreciate your support. We will definitely be praying for you, Mary. It's one of those days you just have to keep watches of all the watches and warnings and hope for the best. And a very active year for weather this year. Extremes seems to be the norm. It unfortunately it looks like it's more and more susceptible to some extreme weather. We've seen a lot of highs and lows. Roll Tide just south of Birmingham. I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Just hope it will settle down a little bit. Solar minimum means more severe weather. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, we were coming out of 2011 was coming out to a newer cycle. Was it rotate every 9, 10, 12 years, 9, 10, 11 years? Hey, Jason. You're welcome. I'm happy to help. Yeah, so let me back it up and get a bigger view here. See what else is happening. Okay. All right. So it looks like it's died down here in Louisiana. So that's good. Just some garden variety thunderstorms. Looks like it's died down in Oklahoma. They're feeling the cooler temperatures. There's not much happening in Memphis. Let's see what this is here in severe potential. So what's this threat? Storm. It looks like they might be issuing yeah, right here in Tennessee. Looks like a potential watch. Looks like it's only 20% though. The Storm Prediction Center has highlighted this area here of a potential tornado watch, but they only have a 20% chance of them activating it. They're looking at Boeing segments has moved across Western Tennessee over the last hour. That has recently has been a weakening trend. So no observed damage, winds are being reported or anything like that. So therefore, given the weakening trend with this activity, its locations to the north of the better surface-based instability or a lack of support, and do not plan to issue a watch across Middle Tennessee. So it looks like these storms right here that are moving across have a noticeable weakening trend, and they feel like the Middle Tennessee, which actually it's not even highlighted anymore, they took it off, that they will not be issuing a tornado watch. So that's a good thing. Tornado watch between now and 7 o'clock for all these areas in Mississippi and Alabama. So this is a huge area. That was issued at 1 o'clock. That was earlier this afternoon. I've never seen this many tornado warnings in one state before. It's a lot. It is a lot, Ross. It's definite a lot. 9 tornadoes in Mississippi and four in Alabama. Okay, so we got a lot of these are on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot going on. Here's down to the south. Let's zoom into this area. At 2:51, so that was 12 minutes ago. Between now and 3:15, there was a tornado possibly located 8 miles northeast of Coffeyville or 15 miles northwest of Grove Hill, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. So in its path would be the track thunderstorm will remain in rural areas, so it must be pretty isolated out there in northwestern Clark County. So it looks like this particular area is not in a high populated area, and it's out fairly in the middle of nowhere. Here's another one at 2:38. So that's been happening for a while. This is about to expire, but it goes on until 3:30. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing at 2:38, producing a tornado located 7 miles northwest of Silius or 16 miles northeast of Waynesboro, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. Locations in that path are Gilbertown and Toxie around 2:50. That was just earlier, but it's going to be around Butler by 3:10. This move is moving northeast at 45 miles an hour between now and 3:30. for this particular tornado warning right here, that was radar induced. This one has a observed tornado with it in the area by Sweetwater. That one's loading at 2:54. Looks like this particular tornado was located near Uniontown, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour, west central Dallas County and south central Alabama is in the path. Locations, Meridian, Maroon, Uniontown, Thompson, Faunsdale, Dayton, as well as Perry County, Sprott. All these areas are going to be under the gun for a possibly tornado moving at 35 miles an hour between now and 4 o'clock. So this is a pretty big area. And this one's observed. So they have a storm spotter actually observing this on the ground as we speak. And that particular system is also heading towards Uniontown as well. And that particular storm at 2:54, there was another one that indicated a tornado-producing storm located over Uniontown, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Locations in that path are pretty much generally the same areas that were just in the last one, because this is essentially moving northeast in the same area. What's happening in Utah? Let's go to Utah. All right. So right now in Utah, it's pretty crystal clear. It's 48 degrees. Salt Lake City's 55, 52. So looks like there's, little showers just south of Salt Lake City. But for the most part, not much happening right now in Utah, as you're probably in between systems. Flexi Spooky link, please. I'm not sure if you're talking to me. I don't know. I'm not sure what link you're talking about. I've shared your site with friends. Hey, I appreciate your support, Silver. I greatly appreciate it. You're welcome, Jason. But yeah, we can kind of span out for a second here and look what's going on in the other parts of the country. Portland's 54 degrees, 52 degrees. That's fairly nice. You can see it's pretty clear. Again, that whole system is moving across. So all the activities fairly east, so central and then eastward. Back behind it, it cleared everything out. They had a little bit more snow in Denver. But for the most part, it's a pretty strong system. So it's going to clear all the air out behind it. So you're going to have some fairly nice days probably coming up over the next several days. And all the action is going to be to the south, southeast, eventually the east, and then up the East Coast. So yeah, we head into Chicago here. Looks like some rain, 37 degrees. They're starting to see that cooler air filter in, from the northwest, from the east, or from the west. 37 degrees now in Amarillo, 64 in Dallas. So it was 83 yesterday in Dallas. So that's a 20-degree drop, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's pretty, fairly good, strong cold front for this time of year. And these are clear skies. So with clear skies, light winds, you'll probably drop to like 42 degrees tonight in Dallas, which is below normal for this time of year. What's happening in Birmingham, Alabama? So let's go back into Birmingham. Diane. There's that storm in Tuscaloosa. So that is all heading towards Birmingham. That's the one off to the northeast of Birmingham. There's two back-to-back radar. There's a radar and observed tornado as well as a radar a confirmed tornado just northwest of Birmingham. There, it's popping up at 2:57. That storm was capable of producing a tornado near Cardiff, 7 miles northwest of Gardendale, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. Locations in the path are Gardendale, Dallas, Warrior, Kimberly, as well as Morris, Locust Fork, Trayford, Hayden, and County Line, Cedar Springs, Remlamp, Village Springs, as well as Smoke Rise. And it looks like back-to-back as well. So just to the north of that, you also have another radar-produced tornado, and down to the south, I mean, this area looks like it's heading towards Birmingham as well. So this down here, the storm by Tuscaloosa. Let me look at this one for a second. This is the one that we had that confirmed tornado that was near McFarland Mall, or 7 miles southeast of Tuscaloosa. That one's moving at 30 miles an hour. That one, unfortunately, looks like it's on the path to the Birmingham area. Holt is also in the path. Lakeview, Brookwood, Coling, Vance, Arbonett, McFarland Mall, as well as Lake Wildwood. So all these areas will be under the gun for confirmed tornado, not just radar induced, actual confirmed tornado. And unfortunately, this look at the path. I mean, it looks like it's going to be taking fairly almost direct hit into the Birmingham, Alabama area over the next 30 minutes. Hey, you're welcome, Bill. I'm glad to have you here. I appreciate you watching. I have a question. Will there be any power outages? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It looks like, with those higher winds, and especially with the updraft potential in the atmosphere, for sure, you can definitely be susceptible for possibly power outages later on the night. Hi, pal, from Dayton, Tennessee. Raining heavy here. We had an amazing bolt of lightning that hit behind our house around 1:30. Cable truck came out because it took out the Wi-Fi. Oh, wow. So you're in Dayton? Oh, yeah, Dayton, Tennessee. There's Nashville. Yeah, for the most part, all this is lifting your way. But the severe threat definitely subsides a lot by the time it actually gets to your area. So you'll have some stronger thunderstorms, but not nearly what they're seeing down to the south that they're dealing with right now in the southeast, for sure. But yeah, even currently, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8. Here's a new one. There's 8. This one's moving at 26 miles an hour, lifting off to the northeast. This is fairly compact. Tornado warning, central Talladega, southwestern Clay counties, expiring at 3:15. So that looks like that's just about to expire. That was tornado radar induced. It doesn't look like there's much going on with that one, so that looks like it's set to expire. But yeah, definitely eight or so tornado warnings at the same time right now. Yeah, so this whole system is moving northeast to just east. So this whole area will be under the gun for more of a nighttime threat for severe weather. And then as we get into the day tomorrow, this will lift off into the northeast and going to be impacting South Carolina, North Carolina, into Virginia as well, with another significant severe weather outbreak in this area. And this same system will be lifting up into the northeast on Friday. At the same time, they got some colder air coming down as well. And so that looks like possibly a rain changing over to a snow in areas of the Northeast coming up on Friday, overnight, Thursday night, getting into the morning hours of Friday. So this is a long duration event happening over the next 36 hours for severe weather that possibly ends with a snowstorm for the Northeast. So it really started this morning with a blizzard in Amarillo, and we had some severe weather in Dallas. They had, several tornado warnings here in Oklahoma City. Now they're cooling off. Now it's down to 45 degrees in Oklahoma City, so that's almost chilly. 45 degrees, that's cold for the middle of March, even for Oklahoma. So it's pretty strong cold front as this is definitely moving across. Yeah, so when I started on live here, a lot of East Texas were still getting the rain and the thunderstorms. Now that has actually shifted into Louisiana, so you can see how far it's passed. It's moved already about 100 miles since I've been on live here, which has been probably over an hour at least. I'm not really sure when I started. It was, well, it looks like it would maybe have been one. I'm actually talking longer than I thought, maybe 2 hours. Such a stark contrast watching your radar coverage where I'm at. Is just a beautiful spring day. Yeah, yeah. So be fortunate that you're having some nice weather, because there's a good chunk of the country right now that's really susceptible for damaging tornadoes. Let me zoom out so you can kind of get a full picture of what's happening. Here's where we're at. So here's the west. I mean, if you live in the West Coast, there's not much going on. If you live in the central part of the U.S., this is a zoomed out version, but predominantly there's not fairly too much going on. Everything is literally in the central U.S. to the east, and predominantly it's all to the southeast. It's all to the southeast here, and this will eventually lift off into the east, and then it will eventually lift off into the northeast, and so then we kind of clear out and we regroup. For next week, we're looking at yet probably another system coming off the West Coast. It looks like maybe possibly a wet time in Texas next week. Looks like in Dallas it could rain probably every day. We could be talking some more storms by Monday. There's probably more snow for Denver next week. There's probably some snow in New Mexico next week, as well as even the latest Euro models is still hinting at possible snow in extreme portions of West Texas sometime next week as well, with a fairly strong cold front next week. So we'll have a couple of days of regrouping. Out here, you'll probably have 6 or 7 days before the atmosphere kind of destabilizes itself again and kind of regroups for the next system that comes across. Hey, RS, thanks for watching. Yes, definitely praying for Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. Those two areas will definitely be under the gun for a significant severe weather threat for much of today and especially in tonight. I'm in Southwest Mississippi. Will there be any severe weather like tornado? Yeah, absolutely. Mississippi is definitely under the gun for a fairly significant threat Now you mentioned southwest. I'm not sure how southwest you're talking about. We talking um, there's Mobile, Alabama. There's Jackson. Are you by Columbia? I mean, are you that far south? Because you might be too far south where you might be by the coast where you definitely miss a lot of it. Uh, the Natchez area. Oh, you're back here. Okay. Yes, you're definitely under the gun for severe thunderstorms. That you're right now. You're under that tornado watch. So you're definitely under the gun for tornadoes for sure. This area in that Natchez area. Yeah, you have a fairly you have right around a 30 to 15 to 30% chance of a tornado. That's a fairly high threat. So I would imagine your threat would be later on this evening. Yeah, so here your tornado watch expires at 8 o'clock. So for the next 5 hours, you're still under the gun for severe weather. Bad thing is the sun is shining here. Yeah, that is not usually a good sign, Johnny. If the cold front has not made it through your area and you've got clearing where the dew point is high, and if you have any sun, that usually heats up the atmosphere and it kind of fuels it for those storms to even intensify even more, unfortunately. So that is not usually a good thing, like you mentioned, to see the sun for sure. Uh, Violet rotation headed towards Brookwood area. So let me zoom out. Brookwood. There's Louisville or no Baton Rouge. Radar indicated. Yeah, this one's observed. This is the Brookwood one. At 3:15, we have a confirmed tornado located over Brookwood or 8 miles east of Holt, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Locations in the path. This is a confirmed tornado that is on the ground right now between now and 3:45. So the next 25 minutes, locations in the path are Holt, Lakeview, Brookwood, Coling, Vance, Lake Wildwood, Mercedes-Benz of Alabama, Fleetwood, Bucksville, East Brookwood, as well as Camp Horn. All these areas will be undergone of a tornado, not just radar indicated, an actual tornado that's on the ground currently as we speak, with $half size hail associated with it, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Yeah, it's bad enough when a supercell thunderstorms begin to rotate, produce tornadoes during the day. Nature has to add insult to energy to the middle of the night. Yeah, those nighttime tornadoes are no fun whatsoever. It's not for anybody. It's very nice to have in Florida at least hurricane season. Make sure you charge your phones. Absolutely. Yeah. So right now, go plug in all your phones because you never know if the power is going to go out. You need to have those phones fully charged. Like I said, you always got to think ahead in days like this. If you have to leave the house, if you have to go anywhere, always have like a plan B in place. If I go here to point A, if I have a tornado warning, if I'm inside a store, what am I going to do in that type of situation? If I'm driving the car, if there's a tornado warning, if I see a tornado, what am I going to do? So have some sort of and on days like this, I mean, it's better to not leave the house if you can. But if you have to, then always definitely have a plan B. And if you're at the house and if you have a tornado warning, then always go into your safe zone, whether that might be a tornado shelter, inside or out. The safer ones are, underground. And then if you don't have an underground one, go to your, inner portions of the home, surrounded with as little as many walls as possible, with no windows, and have a weather radio. Absolutely. And I actually there's one on my website. Here's my website. Y'all can go to it. ponderonweather.com. I just completed this the other day. I do actually have a weather radio on there. It's a fairly inexpensive one. It's only about $30, but it does the job. You can go on there and get it. It's one of my affiliated products. But yeah, you can go to the website under the affiliates link and check out some of the items that I have. I have my Weather Tempest weather station, which I love. That's probably the best weather station I've ever owned in my life. A lot of it because it's a kind of an all-in-one system. It's all solar powered. There's no batteries associated with it whatsoever. And I have the app on my phone as well, which I love. It's got all the calculations of the data point of collecting the temperature, the wind, the hail. It rained 0.96 inches at my house last night. As soon as the first raindrop hits the rain gauge, I get a notification, and then I can link it to all the other Tempest members of all over the nation as well. So it's a pretty cool weather station. It definitely has a premium to it. It's not the cheapest one in the market. It's about $300, but I guess you get what you pay for, because it took me about 5 minutes to set it up. It's a breeze. You basically just have to download the software, download the app. It's because it's all connected. It's all in one system. And so I love it. It's pretty easy, and it does everything I need to do. Hey, Snoop, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, we went over the Brookwood one. That was we talked about it earlier. That was on the ground. That's a significant violent rotation in that this one right here for the next at 325. So at 325, this looks like possibly another new one that just popped up. Indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Oh, that's the flash flood warning. So not only are they getting a tornado, but they're getting a lot of heavy rain. But not only radar indicated, but observed, and it could be a bigger tornado, one of the bigger ones we've seen today for the Brookwood area, as well back into Tuscaloosa as well. So they're going to be dealing with that two back-to-back tornadoes as this is lifting off into the northeast over the next 30 minutes. This keeps on indicating the flash flood warning. Hey, Mark. Yeah, rain wrapped are the worst because you can't see them. Ugh. Yeah, there's so many tornado warnings. All right, here's one at 317. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing tornadoes were located near Vanden to Central Mills, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Locations in the path are Uniontown, Thompson, Marin, Bogchito, Vagden, Consul, Central Mills, as well as Sprout, Vagden Field Airport area, as Johnston College. So these areas will be susceptible for a thunderstorm possible, capable of producing tornado along the path, moving 30 miles an hour between now and 4 o'clock. Yeah, it's cold in Vegas. Natalina? Yeah, you're pretty clear in Vegas. You're probably experiencing that very nice chillier air. Oh man. Yeah, that one's moving at 33 miles an hour. Radar indicated. That one's lifting off into the northeast as well. Don't remind us of the snowstorm. This is Tuscaloosa, Alabama that we're currently on, Sean. These both tornado warned severe thunderstorms right now. One's radar indicated, one's actually observed. Going into the Tuscaloosa, possibly Birmingham area over the next 10, 15, 20 minutes. Keeps on doing the flash flood. I don't know why it keeps on popping up the flash flood watch. But yeah, this storm is lifting off into the northeast. It's by Northport. This would be just north of Tuscaloosa. There's Brookwood. And there's Tuscaloosa. So this area, and I think here would be right around Northport here, right here. It's almost in Northport right now. Lifting off into the northeast. Yeah, it's almost got a hook right here. Look at this. It's almost developing a hook on radar here. Right by Holt. Yeah, just in the south of Tuscaloosa here, it looks like there's a developing possibly hook on radar. This could be developing a pretty significant tornado right now. Yeah, 2 possible tornadoes moving through Tuscaloosa County. So yeah, these areas back to back here are under the gun for tornadoes currently right now, and this one's developing a possible hook on radar. Yeah, look, it's moving through. You see that hook echo right here on the southwest side? There's so much going on. It just keeps popping up. But it looks like back to back. I mean, where they've had an observed tornado earlier just north of Brookwood, this area will probably be hitting the exact same area as this one hit earlier. Yeah, right along this path, just north of Brookwood, north of North Jones, right along this red shaded area, moving northeast. Tornado warning for Wilkinson County, Mississippi. Is it this one? Doppler radar flood advisory. Yeah, tornado possible in Waynesboro. At 3:27, so this was about 9 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm was located near Clara or 4 miles south of Waynesboro. Other severe thunderstorms are located near Toxie or 5 miles southwest of Lavaca, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. Locations in the path are Waynesboro, Butler, Clara, Lisman, Silius, Pington, and Gilbertown. What about Central West Louisiana, DeRuyter, Louisiana, to be exact? I see different radars for us. There's Shreveport. There's Monroe, Louisiana at 3:30. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing tornado was located 11 miles southeast of Ruston, moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. Locations in that one's path. It will be near Claiborne, near at 3:55 for the next 18 minutes. In Claiborne, it'll also be near Calhoun, Mineral Springs, Eureka, Folksville, and Downsville as well. And it looks like it's possibly another one as well in Louisiana. There's possibly 3 actually radar indicated tornadoes just northeast of that location at 3:30. There's another possible tornado near the Claiborne area as well at by 3:55, and this one's a little bit further northeast at it looks like it's a lot of the same areas, because this is, again, these are all lifting to the northeast, and these are all radar induced tornadoes. There's not many reds or yellows with this system, so it's possibly not terribly too strong, but it is radar indicated as you're just on the back edge of this. Once this clears out, you're going to be good in that area, because you'll have the cooler temperatures definitely starting to filter in. Yeah, it looks like there's a severe thunderstorm warning for Crosset as this continues lifting off to the northeast towards Dermot. Hi, Nor. How are you doing? Hey, I appreciate the support. Thanks so much. What's the longest that Texas ever remained cold into the spring? Texas, meaning, I know Dallas stats like the back of my hand. The last freeze in Dallas on record was April 13th. But yeah, you can still get some cooler spells into Texas into April. It's only It's actually never snowed. We've had traces of snow, but it's never snowed in Dallas in April. Not one time. Yes, it's under the affiliates link. Yeah, so if you go to my website, ponderonweather.com, and click on the affiliates link, there's about 10 items, and the weather radio is one of those items, as well as the Tempest weather station. I have my own Pal Ponder on Weather rain gauge on there as well. Um, I have it on Amazon. I have it at free shipping too. So they have a whole bunch of my rain gauges at Amazon. So so and you know how Amazon is. You'll probably get it the next day. Jonesboro, Arkansas. I've been here for 2 hours. Yeah, it's just did that answer your question, Nor? Yeah, typically your last freeze in say Dallas is April the 12th. Um, it's a little later as you obviously go into Amarillo. I mean, and then down to the south in Texas or down in Houston, their last freeze has been a while. But yeah, it can remain cold to the south. Yeah, even into April. I know. Was it last year or the year before? April 15th, I think there was a high of 37. That was a massive cold front that day, and I remember. Yeah, it was April 15th. Around that day that a massive cold front came in, and it was literally about 40 degrees at noontime, and I was freezing. I was Central Kentucky. Yes, Kentucky will be getting the storms later on this evening for sure. Yeah, going into Kentucky, it's not as great, but there's still a threat into Kentucky, more of a slight to enhanced risk for severe weather. That would be later on this evening as all these are lifting off into the northeast. It's all down to the south right now, and mainly Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. It's been storming bad here in Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas has definitely been under the gun for sure as well. There's Little Rock. You can see parts of northwest Arkansas is under that tornado watch. It's pretty clear in Little Rock, but this will move over. Again, these are all moving east northeast. There's a storm. Those three systems we talked about earlier, back to back to back, as this is all lifting off to the northeast. So there's a lot going on for sure. And this whole area from Tupelo to Alexandria, Louisiana, is under a tornado watch. Anything in Georgia, Christina? Yes, your threat would be predominantly coming on, later on this evening, as this whole line is shifting off. Here's Georgia, pretty clear right now, and you can see it's a good ways away. So nothing to be terribly too concerned about right now in Georgia, but later on the night, into the overnight, unfortunately, these systems will be moving over Georgia, and that's when you'll be under the gun for an enhanced to slight risk, say in Atlanta area, not nearly as strong as what they're dealing with in the southeast for sure. These will definitely die down in a great deal by the time they make it to you, but you still have a severe threat overnight this evening. Yeah, you can't roll out something, EF3 or greater. I would say you're probably more susceptible of something like that happening later on this evening between 7 o'clock tonight and 2 o'clock in the morning. So that is my prime area for those 7 hours. It looks like you're probably under the most significant threat or the most enhanced time frame for a larger type tornado that could possibly be on the ground for an extended period of time, meaning 30 minutes, 45 to an hour or so. And then, of course, if these things are moving at 50 miles an hour, if it's on the ground for an hour, that'd be over 50 miles. So I do expect, at least one or two of those later on this evening of an EF2 type, EF3 type storm. I don't want to say, EF4, EF5 or anything like that, because you can never say 100% certain, ahead of time. But yeah, the data is there that the atmosphere is prime for something of that nature of an EF2 or an EF3 type tornado later on this evening. You watch the tornado live on our weather cam on TV? Oh, cool. Yes, I am in the clear. I'm in Dallas. We dealt with a severe threat this morning, but it's 64 right now and there's not a cloud in the sky. So there's nothing to worry about here. Our storms came in at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we had an overnight threat too. Our storms came from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So that gives you a time frame. We were under the gun for severe weather in Dallas at between 3 and 6 o'clock this morning. And now we're talking 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're pretty much almost through Louisiana now. It's moving through Louisiana. So that's how far it's traveled in those 12 hours. And it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad overnight. So what's causing the big disturbance? Just a very dynamic atmosphere. Are nor'easterns possible in April? Um, yeah, I mean it definitely could happen. I mean that's over 2 weeks away for sure. The weather moves a lot in March. The weather moves. You see how fast it moves in March. We were talking literally just take Amarillo for example. They had 17 tornadoes on Saturday, and then they go from that to a blizzard this morning. So 5 days later, they were talking blizzard in that area. So and the weather moves pretty quick in March. So to say, hey, what's going to happen in April? There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen between now and then before we get to April. But it's typically another season, another time frame. We do have some colder temperatures, coming in and clashing with the warmer temperatures down to the south, and that's where you get that severe threat. Hey Maria, how are you doing? Thanks for watching. Good to see you on here. I know I always see you comment on my videos. I appreciate you coming on live with me. Touchdown in Jonesboro. It got big quick. Jonesboro, Arkansas. Is it this one? Northeast at 37 miles an hour. That's a thunderstorm warning. No, it's not that one. Is that current? Fayetteville? I don't see one in Jonesboro. Maybe that was earlier. You're under tornado watch, but I don't see one currently. I'm talking about the tornado last year. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Johnny. Yeah. Yeah, tornado, silly. It's hard to keep up. I'm talking about one thing and I see the comments, so I'm trying to keep up and yeah, I missed that one. But yeah, that makes sense. It was like, hey, wait a minute, there's no tornado here. But yeah, if we zoom into New Orleans here, for the most part, this is all north of you in New Orleans. It looks like you're going to be fairly going to be missing. Um, for the most part in New Orleans, you could have another. You could have a little bit more of a severe threat later on this evening as this system moves across Louisiana, getting into more of your neck of the woods. So just because nothing's happening right now, all this activity is still going to be heading your way. So it's more of the calm before the storm out in your region. But the sky is looking scary towards Little Rock. Yeah, so Little Rock is still under that. There's not much happening in Little Rock right now. And if this is lifting northeast, you're probably seeing what's happening to the northwest of you. So how rare is it that the high severe outlook is issued? It's pretty rare. The last one was issued in 2019. So they don't take these lightly. It's been 2 years since they actually issued a high risk. So it is fairly rare. I mean, I could probably count on one hand how many high risk just over the last maybe 5 to 7 years. It's fairly rare, and even a PDS watch is fairly rare as well. So that's because it's the highest risk you can have, and there's 5 levels: marginals 1, slights 2, enhanced is 3, moderates 4, high is 5. So that's the highest level. And then if you get above 5, which the only thing above 5 is what they call a PDS watch, which is a particularly dangerous situation, and that's what we're currently under right now in this area right here, under this particular watch right here that expires at 7 o'clock. Um, so yeah, this is definitely a rare time of just so much activity happening all at once. Yeah, because you can look, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings happening right now. Currently, there's 6. There's 6 active tornado warnings currently right now. And who knows how many we've actually had already. So it's already been active, and it's only been, 3 or 4 hours here. And the main activity comes in tonight. Yeah, I would say high risk is as rare as a retro for sure. It's hard to get all those dynamics to come together all at once. So that's what it would take. Hey, I'll come back in a minute or so. Hold on. Good afternoon, Ron B. here in upstate New York. How much heavy wet snow for our area? Yeah, we talked about the wet snow earlier. Yeah, you can go, Dalton. Yeah, it looks like a transfer to a wet snow on Friday. And it's looking more like more favoring the coastal regions of the Northeast. So you're in upstate New York. Because a lot of the precipitation is mainly along the coastal regions. So you actually might not be in the favored area of even the precipitation. Okay, so you're in Dungsboro. I'm looking it up right now. Okay, I see where you're at. Looks like you're fairly on the edge. Yeah, it looks like a rain on Thursday night. That'll transfer to more of a wet snow on Friday morning, getting into early Friday morning. And it looks like maybe an inch or two. Just depends on how fast you change over. But yeah, you're high of 41 on Thursday, but you drop down to 21 on Thursday night. And your low is 34 on Wednesday. So yeah, right now I would say 1 to 2 inches. But it could possibly be more because there's a lot of liquid with this. Yeah, so you essentially have you have about 0.6 of liquid. Yeah, you have a 100% chance of rain and then a 100% chance of snow. And you have 0.6 of liquid. So I would say probably 60% of that's going to be rain and 40% of that's going to be snow. I didn't think I would even see a moderate risk this earlier in the season, let alone a high risk. Yeah, Blaster, it's very rare that we're actually even talking about what we're talking about today. I mean, this is only the middle of March. This is, in all accounts, this is technically winter still. You know, spring starts March 20th. So it's for sure, it's rare in itself to see a high risk, but it's also rare in itself to see something in the middle of March like this that we're dealing with right now. So hopefully this is not the signs to come for later on in the season, because the highest severe threat is obviously getting into April and May. Yeah, last Sunday here in southern Massachusetts, it was flurrying in the sunshine. Oh wow, it's always a cool sight to see when the sun's out and it's snowing as well. Hi D. Hi Tristan. Thanks for watching from Alabama. About to go to the shelter and it gets faster and it makes it to Warrior. Yeah, I would definitely head to your shelter. Let me zoom in. Wow, we still got that one in Birmingham. There's one back here. That one's by Thomasville. That's Waynesboro. Man, it's crazy that somewhere in the U.S. is a tornado weather while they're here in Glendale, we're at a crisp, clear 72 degrees. Hang there even then has been a time the COD hung around. If you had to estimate what the baddest winds, hail estimated would be, what would it be? If you had to estimate where the baddest winds and hail, etc., would be where, and what would that be? Your prime areas are Mississippi and Alabama. Those are the two states you're going to get hit the hardest for sure. And it would probably be later on this evening between 7 and 2 o'clock in the morning. What they call apple size hail potential. That's more like 2.75 at its highest. And it's not out of the question they could see an EF2 or even possibly an EF3 type tornado later on this evening. So I would say those areas would be your highest threat potential later on this evening. Did it freeze? Oh, my radar froze. Yeah, it looks like my radar froze here. I'm not sure what's going on. Are we still going into La Nina weather pattern in the summer? Yes. Yes, it definitely looks like reboot. Get back out and get back in. I can't even do that. Well, I'm going to have to log off. This one? I can't even do that. Sorry, my radar. Close the window. And see if I can get it rebooted here. It froze on me. Yeah, this particular radar takes a lot of... We will be here. I might have to come back on. Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete. Task manager. Yeah. Close window. I can't even close it. Yeah, it's totally locked up. I'll probably have to come back on live. It's totally frozen. All right, y'all. Hey, I could probably get something to eat as well, but I'll come back here in a little bit. Okay, bye, y'all.